morning. Good morning. How are we doing today, Professor?
Doing good. Good morning, everybody.
All right. So we've got how was your night, man? Everything go good? I was training yesterday.
Training was pretty physical.
Physical?
Yeah.
Oh, the matches?
Yeah, matches are pretty
physical. It takes about 4 or 5 rounds for me to get for me to even kind of start to warm up nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I was still in my 3rd or 4th round.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I got on the mat late though, to be fair. So today we're talking about enjoyment, which is one of our core values.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of everything around that surrounding it. And so the first question we've got is, how does enjoyment impact your life? So we've got, for those who don't know what's happening right now, we've got an ongoing battle. Not only do we we wrestle, our members, and we grapple our members. Comcast, we're in apparently like a steel structure. And so everything around us is steel. This entire room is steel studs, steel buildings, steel joists, steel roof,
steel Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah. So, which Wi-Fi doesn't like. So like whenever you're trying to connect, whether you're like doing like a mobile broadcast or anything like that, devices, they just don't like it.
Yeah.
And one day it's working great. It'll be the fastest internet you've ever seen. And then the next day it's like, no, I'm not feeling it. And it won't give up on it. So like, that's kind of what, with the battle we're encountering with mobile devices, different live streams, things like that. So the question is, how does enjoyment impact your life?
We've been talking about that a little bit on the in the back office
for sure
last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and now we came to the realization that's one of our core values. So whatever it is you're doing, you have to enjoy it.
100%.
Yeah, it'd be very, very. You'd be living a miserable life if you go to work out and you're not enjoying it. You go to work, you're not enjoying it. So you have to find fun, and it's got to make you happy.
It has to, and it's not just because you're going to spend, it's like you calculate how many hours you're going to work, so many hours of your life, right? So it's not just because of that. It's also because when you enjoy something, you're going to put more effort into it. You're going to be more productive. Because to really stand out.
Yeah.
To really stand out, like you kind of have to go the extra mile. You need to put in some extra effort. You need to put in the work. And I've told like a lot of people, like there's a lot of careers where I would be the lowest performer in the room. I promise you.
Yeah, if your heart's not in it.
Yeah, I promise you, I'm like, whatever, dude. Like I'm like, it's fine. Like
we have a 12-year-old in our class, and he looks like 15. He's
Manuel.
Yeah. So I was watching him train yesterday, and I'm like, you really enjoy jiu-jitsu, don't you? He's like, yeah, I really like it.
He's got a really good story too.
Yeah, and I could just tell by the way he's going about class that he really enjoys it, and he's actually just starting to move so much better. And you can see he's got the confidence to he's 12 years old, and he's voluntarily doing matches with adults. And because he enjoys what he's doing, and he enjoys working hard, it's really showing in his maturity and obviously his physical ability in jiu-jitsu. Like, it's amazing to see.
Yeah. He's just an example. Like, 'cause he actually came back. They came back. I forget what happened. They had to take
after COVID or something.
I don't know if it was COVID.
He said he was here in 2020.
Oh, is that long of a break?
Yeah,
I thought he was back here more recently. Okay. Well, he took a break. They came back, and then he's just been crushing it ever since. So how does it, practically speaking, how does enjoyment impact your decision making then? How does enjoyment impact your decision making? We'll say with work, with your diet, with training. How does it impact that?
Well, I mean, I enjoy jiu-jitsu.
Sure.
Yeah, I really enjoy jiu-jitsu. And If I have like a injury or I don't feel like doing it, or I'm just really, really tired, or like I feel like my body's beat up, like it makes it easier to do the necessary things to get better at jiu-jitsu, or to get better off of the mat. Because really, jiu-jitsu is about growing off of the mat.
For sure.
So it makes it easier because you know you work hard when you come to jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
So you keep yourself honest just by stepping into the mat. Your partners, your teammates keep yourself honest, and it's never about, well, I'm going to the gym to beat that person.
Right.
I'm going to the gym to say, okay, I got a toolbox and I'm going to problem solve to fix all the problems that are going on in my life. And it's enjoyable because you have other people keeping you accountable, but at the same time, it's really only you against you.
Sure. So let me ask the question a different way, because you have jobs outside of here.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so yeah, obviously you have GNC and you've got a couple, you have the Professor's Choice, which sponsors the podcast. So you have different things. How does the decision making, like practically speaking, because I don't think a lot of people do this.
Yeah.
So practically speaking, you look at your calendar, you look at your day, you look at your week, your schedule, and you're like, okay, I am going to, how does it impact what fills that up? Like, so if I give you, just because I know your personality, I'm going to say, hey, Professor, I'm going to need I don't even know, like a 7-page letter to report to the state for something, because apparently it's just got to be long-winded and with a bunch of filler words, kind of like a filibuster. So like it can't be in a paragraph, right? So I need 7 pages typed up, single space, double font, Times New Roman, single 12. Like, so I need you to write that for me.
Yeah. On what subject?
Just on like a response to just some legal paperwork so they can file us correctly.
Yeah. So that's like easy. Like you have to know what your outcome is. It's not like an outcome is not really a to-do list. It's what you want to accomplish.
Sure.
Yeah. So if you know what you want to accomplish, and I wouldn't call them a goal, because a goal is a little bit more about a destination. It's like, how do you want to feel, and where do you want to be, and what does it take to get there? And makes it easy to write a 10-page letter. And everybody has a story. I have a story, you have a story, and we're the authors of our own book, or of our own life. Like the reason why you do or don't accomplish your goals is because of the story that you tell. And either way, you're going to write a story. Either way, we are writing a story. Either way, we are writing this 10-page essay. So you might as well fill it with a good story or a good essay. So
you're cool with you're cool with the actual typing and the tedious work of writing that essay. You enjoy that type of work.
No, I cannot stand. Well, I'm married to an editor.
Yeah.
I'm married to an editor, and Metro Jiu-Jitsu is lucky to have that person. So
sure.
No, there's parts of jiu-jitsu, there's parts of my job I don't like. I know there's parts that you don't like, but the ones that I do like way outweigh what I don't like.
Yeah, and that's kind of the goal, right? So when we talk about enjoyment, like it's important to not only, of course, enjoy the training, but like I talk to, and some of the people who have been around Metro long enough, they see relative to the amount of time we're in the building, how little we actually train. Because like if we're in the building 10, 12 hours, we might train 90 minutes of that, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, it seems like, oh, they're always here, they're always training.
Yeah, like you're like, so it's like, like I make the jokes like, do things, open up a jiu-jitsu academy. It'll be fun, they say. Well, that's cool till the kid has what I'm going to assume was like a Happy Meal 20 minutes before class and then throws up on the mats. Yeah. A second day. That's part of it. Or like so the macro, you definitely want the macro, more of it to be doing what you enjoy. And secondly, like I used to come from the mindset of, well, I've got to do it, right? Like it's just kind of like I have to, like sort of a go-getter at it, like whatever, I'll find a way. I don't want to find a way. Like, why would I try? Like, I'm going to find someone to do that. Like, could I write the essay? Yep. 100%. Is there someone who would do it better than me and probably enjoy it more? And I could spend my time doing something else that I'm really, really good at and that's what I would rather do. Yeah. Like, that's much what I'd rather do. If there's no one else that it has to be done, fine, whatever, I'll do it. It's fine. Yeah. But like, I'm going to exhaust every other option because I don't want to do stuff that I don't want to do. One, if I don't enjoy it, the quality won't be up to par. And two, if I don't enjoy it, like I'm going to do the bare minimum and I'm going to do the bare minimum. It's not going to be the product we want to put out.
Yeah. And one of the ways we look at that is you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to, do everything yourself. You have to be resourceful. And resourceful means reaching out to everybody around you that knows better than you and that can, maybe better do something than you can.
100%. So now how does enjoyment impact your diet?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I believe after, years and years and years of, I don't want to say diets, about maybe trying different diets, I believe you can eat healthy and you can enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, I really do. I believe you don't have to limit taste for nutrition. So,
especially today.
Yeah,
especially today.
Yeah, so there's this company that I just ordered some meals from. It's called Hungry Root.
Hungry Root. Okay.
You ever heard of them?
Mm-hmm. So are they local or are they national?
National.
Okay.
Yeah. So you go inside their app and you choose the type of foods that you like to eat, how you like to eat it, whether it be wraps or breakfast or snacks or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So they send you basically everything you need to either have a meal on the go, snack and go, or to cook a meal.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So like, there's so many different resources out there like that, and I use them, and that's an example of making your job easy to have healthy food that tastes good.
Yeah.
And enjoy it too.
Yeah, that Amanda and I, it's funny. It's a very long, quite boring story, but like I told you, we had to go to Lexington, Kentucky, and back on Sunday. And so we said, what do you want to eat? She said, okay, I'll stop at Wendy's. I said, all right. I said, does Wendy's have good food? She's like, okay, they have burgers. And I was like, I don't want a freaking burger. I hate burger. The taste of a burger is good. The way it's presented is always messy.
Yeah.
Until so fast forward till the end of the day, get there, come back, and now we're in downtown Cincinnati, and this really bougie, just I don't know, it looks like it belonged downtown Detroit, but super bougie. There's hanging gardens, and they ordered a burger. I ordered a burger. I was like, well, whatever. It was the best option on the menu. The way they built this burger, most burgers fall apart. They however they put it, all the juice, just the bread on the bottom, it's no longer actually, bread. I was able to eat it with a fork and knife, as you know. I'm not going to pick that up with my hands because that's just, my hands are greasy. It really, really bothers me. So that was enjoyable. So I love that you can filter that out. I need a wrap. Don't give me stew. My life is not set up to eat stew as a meal. Probably yours isn't either, unless it's in a thermos cup or something. So that is, and I would say you've been in this industry way, most of your life. Is the awareness about health food and organic and natural food versus all of the other poison they're putting in the rest? Is it pretty large today compared to where it was in the 90s?
Oh my gosh.
Literally, I just as a 90s kid, I was yep, I'm going to have Honey Nut Cheerios for breakfast, SpaghettiOs for lunch, and pizza for dinner. That's it. That's kind of your meal. And then with some type of fruit roll up in between, at some point.
My biggest issue with fast food, probably one of my biggest issues, we all know fast food is not good for you. We all know it's just junk. My biggest issue is it doesn't taste good. If I can go to McDonald's and have a fresh Big Mac and a fresh fry and Coke that's not flat or has the correct amount of ice, I probably would have McDonald's more. But the biggest reason why I don't have those cheap cakes and that fast food is it never really it's never like, oh, I don't regret that. Like you put that food inside your body, you regret it immediately.
I feel that.
So yeah, if I can get a cake or a fast food meal that is fresh, just off the grill, and it tastes good, I probably would have McDonald's more. But
I might add though, because someone's watching this, they're like, McDonald's is delicious. I would say, how much are you having it? Because you eat a lot of you eat a lot of we'll call it compound food, like food, nutrient dense food.
Yeah.
And so like you kind of know those flavors and what food should taste like. I've literally bit into fast food, and like immediately my body I like spit it out. I was like, I won't eat that. Like that whatever happened to prep that and serve it to a customer was equivalent to an industrial work line. I'm not gonna like I'm pretty sure there's motor oil on it. Like I won't. But if your body will it will hunger for what you're used to giving it.
Yeah.
Like, and the more you eat healthy food, the more you're like, that's what I crave.
And I have to tell you guys, like, how many you train, sometimes like 5, sometimes 7 days a week.
Yeah. I haven't trained 7 days in a minute. I normally take Sundays off, but like five's pretty common.
5's pretty regular. Yeah. So that is
at least 5 actually.
That's training a lot more than the average person. And when you exercise and you train, your body starts to call for certain nutrients. Yeah. Yeah. It starts to say, I need a little protein, or I need a little bit of like vitamin C, So, and when you don't put those foods inside your body, it starts to like say, this is not what I'm calling for. Your body really talks to you.
That's really cool. And going back to that enjoyment thing, I may enjoy my friends, family, they give me crap about my diet all because they're like, you're the health guy. And I've never I rarely put out stuff about nutrition because I don't view myself as the health guy. But I am very pro feeling good after whatever I eat.
Yeah.
Like if I eat something and I'm like, and I just feel like lethargic and I've got like a gut bomb and it's heavy, I'm like, I don't feel good. And like in the inflammation in if I eat something with if I were to eat like a fat piece of cheesecake right now, and we're like, yo, let's go for a walk, I would feel it in my ankles.
Yeah.
I swear to you. Like I'd be like, my ankles would feel the size of my quads. And I'm like, that's not, the cheesecake might have been really good, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm really feeling like swollen ankles right now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my third.
And I know we're getting into nutrition, but the food that you eat definitely tells your body what it can and can't do.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. So when you start to snack or binge or eat some stuff you're not, you're on a cycle, it's telling your body, this is not a machine that can produce. This is not a vehicle that could take you anywhere. It just kind of weighs you down. Yep. So the food that you eat definitely dictates what your mind says your body could do.
100%. So what's your most, I'm sure we've answered this one way or the other, but what's the most enjoyable thing to you about jiu-jitsu?
There's a lot, but I think for me is like, you tried your best, and it's not often that you could say in your day-to-day activity, or your job or everything you do outside of the gym, where you feel like I did everything that I could do.
Yeah.
And there's a really good feeling that lingers all throughout the day.
I hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. And we talk about, we feel so good after we train jiu-jitsu. We got endorphins and man, I just feel so good. Like mentally, physically, your entire being, it's kind of easy to try your best in jiu-jitsu because you're fighting to stay alive. And I think that one of the most enjoyment things about jiu-jitsu is you're forced to dial in and have 100% laser focus on that moment in time, for that 60 to 90 minutes. And it's really, it really works a muscle that carries over to every other area of your life. So you're forced to try your best. And for me, it lingers out throughout the day and it becomes easier to try your best at other activities. How about you?
I would say the most enjoyable about jiu-jitsu would be it's given me, and it's maybe like a, it's more of a macro question, like a large scale, like just the confidence and overall sort of demeanor like that it gives me, like jiu-jitsu is always going to be probably the hardest part of my day. No matter what I've got going on.
Sure.
No matter what I've got going on. Like it's the hardest part of my day. And so, but even again, we were in downtown Cincinnati, which has an abnormally large concentrated amount of homeless people. I don't know why. I even asked the locals. They're like, I don't know. They're nice. There's just a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know, in Detroit, they're more hostile. They're a little bit more sparse though. So they, and so I was like, my head's just on a swivel, and I'm like, you know, and this has happened a few times in the past 2 or 3 weeks, like to where I've had to put on that protector hat around Amanda.
Yeah.
And then I made a joke. We're at that same place. I was like, yo, Amanda, take a look at that dude over there. And he may have trained. He may have trained, to be fair. But he weighed about 90 pounds. Okay. And I was like, would you feel super great if I looked like that? And she was like, it was like she begoffed. Like it was like an audible, what? You know, like, and that to me, like that sort of role is really important. Like being able to protect myself. I still care, but like I care less about protecting myself, way more about like my wife and my kids and whatever. And I think that like when we had Devin here, we talked about that stature that follows you, that posture, that situational awareness of just being able, like, you know, and honestly, like being around so many people, I've gotten really good at reading body language, like their body language, they picking that up. I can actually tell more. I honestly look for more what your body's doing when you're talking. Everything from like your facial expressions to your body than necessarily what you're saying. Because that's going to tell you more. So, yes, of course, I love the physical aspect, but I hurt after class, bro. I hurt after class. Like I literally go home, especially because now my routine is normally lift in the morning, train at night, and like by the time I get done, I feel paralyzed. Like my knees and my hips. Like if I'm laying on the couch, like I almost can't move because my legs are just so destroyed at that point. So I wish I could say like it was like I do feel great mentally, but then after like a couple hours after I've eaten, I was like, dude, my legs. I might as well like I'm like Lieutenant Dan and Forrest Gump because I have to like move myself because my legs are just done for the day. You know?
So like we're both talking about how we feel like we've been beat up yesterday. Like I last night my back is hurting and I wake up and I'm like hobbling across the house. Like how could that possibly be enjoyable to anybody who doesn't train jiu-jitsu?
You're gonna hurt regardless. When I don't train, I hurt. You're gonna hurt regardless. Like I hurt, and I would rather, because it's one thing like if my legs are kind of tight and sore, but I know that they're strong, versus like, oh, you're sore because you're sore because you're fat and lazy. Like that's a double insult, right? Now your body hurts and you don't even feel good about it, right? Like that's knowing that you're sore because you worked is a much better feeling than knowing that I'm sore just because I'm not taking care of my body. Huge difference.
Yeah, and so I just got to clarify for our viewers. You tell me if I speak for you or not. But being fat and lazy,
he always has to like correct. I'm a little bit more unfiltered. He's like, let me get the PC. Let me get the PC version here. But clarify.
Being fat and lazy means that you're out of shape and you're not doing anything about it.
Correct.
Being out of shape, overweight in the gym, you're right where you're supposed to be.
Absolutely. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So
we're not talking about. Listen, we're talking about if you see a problem and you're like, I need to solve this problem and I need help and I want to do something about it. Kudos. Like mad respect. But bro, listen, the dad bod phase really bothers me. Really bothers because and it's not because like I've probably got a dad bod. I don't know what dad bods exactly look like. I probably have one. But it's the mentality of we got comfortable. This is what sex appeal looks. Like that's not like I'm refusing to work out. My wife has accepted. She's not going anywhere else. I provide for the family so I can have my my 6-pack on the weekend, 6-pack of beer, that is, not a 6-pack on your abs. And then like a 6-pack on the weekend, and then I can just eat whatever I want. Like that's not where it's at, bro. Like that's not where it's at. And it's the mentality. Yeah. Like trust me, it's the mentality. If you're working, you're trying to make the right things. I see someone who's 300 pounds eating a salad. Like I want to go pay for their salad. Like, cause I know, like they probably want something else on the menu. So that, yes, absolutely. Now, what's the least enjoyable thing about jiu-jitsu?
The least enjoyable thing about jiu-jitsu.
Because we should be fair, right? It's not all sunshines and rainbows.
It's probably the same as the best thing about it is it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard, and you think that you're doing well, you're building up some momentum, and like you're mentally you're in a good space, and things are going good, and you're feeling like you're on top of the world, and then you get into a match, and again, it's never really about the opponent in front of you. It's always about, okay, what I got a toolbox full of tools, and I'm going to use them to get what I want, which is win the match, get on top, or submit a person. And then you start another match and they just make you feel like, oh my God, they're just beating me too easily. Like, what the hell is going on? So
I just had this funny, I already knew, if you're watching this on replay, you're going to see me smirk about 60 seconds before he finishes his sentence, because I see where he's going with it. And in that thought I was like, in the past 2 years, America and probably the world has seen drastic change. Mm-hmm. Immediate change. Like to the point to where like every day during that whole craziness in 2020, every day people would wake up on the news to see how their life was going to change that day. That was like the only time in my life where I really had to watch the news. And ever since then I have not. So like the change, people don't like change. They don't like it. They don't like change. And so, like, it's always going to be like, who's going to be allowed to work? Who's going to be deemed essential? Do we still have to wear masks? Do I have to wear a bodysuit to work? Do I have to get vaccinated? Like, all of these very, very real life changes that, like, affect your life. Like, it's this. What, like, and because it's depending, no matter which side you're on, it's like, how's this going to affect me? That's the bottom line. How's this going to affect me? That's the question everyone's asking. Is how's it going to affect me? And it can go and it can teeter-totter back and forth so quick. Oh, it's good. Everyone, we're in the clear. Okay, you can go out to eat. Nope, everything's coming back down. Okay, we're in the clear again. You can go to concerts. No, everything's coming back. And so like this teeter-totter, like people have felt whiplashed until just now, kind of starting to resemble something, at least in Michigan, something of somewhat normal. That's an everyday occurrence in jiu-jitsu. Things can be going your way, and literally now you're swept, bottom out, you're getting choked, and you were up by 12. And you're like, this did not go very well. And so it went downhill really quickly. In the exact same amount of time that it went downhill against you, you can reverse it and put it back in your favor. Like that, I think that just that mentality of you're never, literally until I'm dead in a grave, you're never out of the game. You're never out of the game.
So true.
Like you're never out of the game, and so that's just
like Alvarez says, stay in the fight.
Yeah,
stay in the fight, and if you can't fight physically, fight mentally.
Yep.
If you can't fight mentally, fight physically, but you got to stay in the fight, and things always turn.
Yeah, absolutely. My least enjoyable. I will say jiu-jitsu is I think it was way more enjoyable training before I coached. It was way more training before I coached.
For sure.
Now, coaching jiu-jitsu is a whole different type of enjoyment. But with that, anyone who's ever coached, mentored someone, taught someone, teachers, pastors, professors, like anyone who's been in any type of leadership role already knows where I'm going with the least enjoyable part. It's to see people defect. It's to see people quit. It's because I think of nutrition coach as well. To say like, if I was a nutrition coach and like, let's say you pay me monthly or whatever, and to make your meals, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to do this on my own. Maybe if I've been setting you up to do it on your own, maybe. But more realistically, what's going to happen is you're going to go back to and I see this. I see it. Like literally, we see guys who are in here and then they quit for one reason or another. Good reasons. Job, money, time, family, whatever. All of which we've had as well. We've had those same problems. And so they quit for good reasons. And I see them on Facebook and they're 35, 40 pounds heavier. You know, they're in the exact same state that they came into us for. And then I see like, you know, so you see, or probably even worse is when parents run it for the kids. When parents run it for the kids, I told you the conversation I had with a parent and he's like, we're doing our summer program. And I was like, yeah, dude, honest, I'm straight up with you. My goal is to get every summer program training jiu-jitsu. I want every kid training jiu-jitsu. I think every kid and adult should train jiu-jitsu. He's like, okay, what if he doesn't like it? I was like, if he doesn't like it, if he genuinely, after doing it for 10 weeks, 11 weeks, doesn't like it, he doesn't have to enroll. But if he does like it and you're pulling the dad of like, you talk him out of it, no. That's not what we're playing. Like we have a gentleman's agreement here. He's like, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I've seen parents talk their kids out of things that are good for them all of the time, every single week. So the kid's excited. The kid loves it, especially little boys, little balls of testosterone. You know the type. Like they're hearing like, you know, they're here to tackle someone. And they love this because everywhere else they're told, no, behave, sit still. And they're just vibrating like a little ball. And then here they get to let it loose. And then they say, we're like, cool, let's get them on the team. And they're like, well, buddy, you don't want to do this, do you? Like, wouldn't you rather just play soccer? You'd rather just play soccer. We're just going to do intramural soccer because that's going to help them become bully proof.
So
I wish I could just play the tape back so you could hear yourself. That's my least favorite part is seeing people quit something that I know is so life-changing before it has a chance to take root.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, another example of that is you go look at a house that you want to buy. A lot of people are buying houses right now. It's really a seller's market, but I think anybody can get approved for a house now. So
$400 down, give me a $500 house.
Right. So you go to look at a house, you walk through, you love the house, it's beautiful. The real estate agent says, you know what? You don't have to decide right now. Like, wait a minute. Why don't you go home, think about it, make sure it's what you want to do. Don't feel any pressure.
Who's real estate agent?
A real estate agent. So that's a parent.
I'm surprised they even got to see the house before they were like, yo, that's it. What do you want the bid to be? Like that's what I understand. That's what I understand the market to be right
And
now.
you know what? That is a parent like getting in their child's own way, encouraging them not to do something. But the correct approach would be to say, you know what? Look, let's put a deposit down. So you're not tied in, but let's put a deposit down and make sure we get it off the market. So this house is yours. Let's put an offer. And so parents do that all the time. They get their kids out of the game by saying, you don't really want to do this, to convince them not to go home and think about it. And
you know, I heard someone sent me, I think it's Tyler sent me a link. It's funny. Like, you don't need time to make a decision. You need information to make a decision.
Correct.
So, like, you're in here, you literally have all the information you've actually taken the class. Like, we've approved them. We're good. We like you. We want you on the team. I swear to you, I've done this, but yeah, I don't want them on the team. So literally be like, hey man, thanks for coming to class. We'll see you later. Like, I honestly don't even go over any membership packages because I just don't want them on the team. And and so they're bad. They're a bad, unsafe fit. And so we like you. Cool. We have all the information. I don't know. Let me go think about it. What do we need to think about? Well, I need to think about, are they going to like it? Hey, Johnny, do you like it? Yes, I like it. Okay. Well, we got that one out of the way. And here's the thing. Whenever you're about to, and this is kind of like talking about a little bit of personal development here. Whenever you're about to go to a next level, your current level is saying, don't do that. That's scary. Like, hey, register for it. How many times have you registered for a tournament and the day of, you're like, dude, I'm not feeling great. Like, I feel kind of, I don't know. I don't want to get any other competitors sick. Like, I'm not feeling great. Like, that is going to drastically help your personal growth. And that is when, like, your little version of yourself is like, I don't know, you probably shouldn't do that. And they're all good reasons, right? I can't afford to get injured. I got to work. It's Saturday. You know, I told my wife I'd cut the grass. Whatever. Fill in the blank. Like that's you getting in your own way. And a good coach won't let you do that. A good coach is going to challenge your thinking. And we do this on the phone. I've done this on the phone. They're like, yeah, well, literally I spoke with the father. He's like, oh, well, if he likes the summer program, I just really want to make sure that he likes it. I said, okay, well, what's your kid enjoy to do? And he's like, video games. I said, okay, and why do you want him in the summer program? To get off video games. I was like, so just so we're all on the same page, you want him to enjoy it, and because you want to pull him away from something he enjoys. Do you think you're going to get a little bit of kickback maybe if you don't tell him how much fun he's going to have? He's like, yeah, you're probably right. I said, I know I am. This is what I do. So like they get in their own way, and it's good intention because I don't like to see my kid in pain. Do you like to see your kids in pain?
Actually, doesn't bother me.
At your point in the game, it probably doesn't, right? Like, because the end, what comes after.
Yeah.
I think it's because you see what comes after. Like, it still bothers me to see Scarlett on the mat get taken down crying. She's a crybaby. So, like, I know she's kind of still mentally soft.
She's 5.
Yeah, she's 6. She's 6, but she is young. I don't want that. It comes from good motives.
That's how I always stick up for my students.
You do, yeah. Okay. No, you do. I'm just saying I don't like seeing, and it's not like I don't like seeing it because I think she's like weak and she needs to be tough. I don't like seeing it because like I've felt that. Yeah. Like I've literally wanted to cry,
and it hurts
I've literally wanted to cry after a match where I'm like, I don't know where that went wrong.
Yeah, it hurts as a dad or mom to see your son in pain, see him struggling, but that's why you contract it out to somebody else. That's why you bring them to a place or organization to help your child grow that makes sense to you. Yeah. So you got to contract that out and step back and let people do their job.
Yeah. I will say, just a kind of a side note about coaching, when someone is extremely coachable and they trust you as a coach,
yeah,
you can tell them, you can say almost anything to them.
Yeah.
Like people, like I recount some stories of what I've said to people and they're like, you said that to them? I was like, yeah, of course. That's what they need to hear. I was like, bro, how long are we going to be 60 pounds overweight? I've said that straight to people's face. Like honestly, like we're coming in here, like clearly your diet at home's not lining up because I see you putting in the work here. You're not going to be able to outwork it though. So what's your diet doing that's keeping you at this weight? You should have lost weight by now. Yeah. And they're like, well, yeah, it's a lot of it. Like, and they're honest. Because what do you want me to do? Just take your money and let you stay where you're supposed to be when you came in to lose weight? That's rude. That's unprofessional, in my opinion. So, okay, so you're a jiu-jitsu black belt. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you been asked your lineage lately? I was training in Arizona, and like they literally like he asked my lineage, and I was like, it's something Danny Alvarez. And when you don't know who that is, I was like, how are you going to ask me a question about a dumb question like my lineage and not know who Coach Danny Alvarez is? Like, I don't know what to tell you. So
I would be surprised.
He literally had no idea who he was.
Honestly, I would be surprised if when he's all said and done, I mean, I don't know what the criteria is, but like he's
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I would, and Bruno also. So.
I can't see. Like 3 weeks don't go by where I don't see a picture of him on the top of the podium somewhere. Yeah. Like a federation, like just another. I don't know what the criteria is, right? Like I can't remember the last time I saw him lose.
He's probably chasing that number 1 spot again.
Yeah. Oh, he's not. How is he not?
Well, it's a 2-year cycle, so your points reset every 2 years, and I think he took a 6 months break.
I gotcha.
So I don't know what his ranking is, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's up there again.
Gotcha.
People, who've been around as long as him don't compete as much as him.
So you're a black belt, and we only have one other. Did you see Paul Homley's picture of his class yesterday?
Yeah.
There were 13 black belts in the front row.
Wow.
With all I was like, he had more black belts on the mat than we had blue belts.
Wow.
I was like, that's crazy. So you're dealing with it's almost 150 years plus of training in that front row. So I'm the only other black belt in the room. So have you ever plateaued in jiu-jitsu?
Oh yeah.
So how do you break through that?
Oh man, plateaus are annoying. When you hit a wall and you feel like you're not learning something, or you're confused, that is a very, very good time because it's just a matter of time before you're going to have some type of breakthrough. If you're confused, you're plateauing, and I don't care if it's jiu-jitsu or outside of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I believe that when you hit that plateau, if you just keep going, you're very, very close to having a big, big breakthrough. I know that. I understand that because if you're doing something again and again and again and again, you don't have to be smart. You don't have to be skilled or talented. You know, your mind and your body are going to find a way, because if you keep running into a wall again and again and again and again and again, you know, you're going to move over to the right and try the next spot and next spot. Whether you know it or not, you're very close to having a breakthrough when you plateau. And, you know, how I kind of get excited that I'm stuck and things aren't going my way because I know I'm about to have a breakthrough.
Yeah.
How about you?
So I don't share the same nostalgia for Plateaus as you do. I have to lean they can be really discouraging for me. I'll be honest. Like they can be really, really discouraging, especially if it's for a prolonged amount of time. And to your point though, to the same point, that's when you get like desperate. Like I get like the hunger pains you feel when you haven't eaten in 8 amount of time. Some people it's 8 hours, some people it's 24 hours, but that hunger pain's like, all right, I really, really need food now. Like I'm really gonna I can't do anything else until I find this next meal. With that same type of hunger, you know, whatever that is, you become kind of obsessive with it. And I do believe anyone who trains jiu-jitsu for a prolonged length of time has to be obsessive. You are obsessive. You may not appear it. You may not even think yourself obsessive. It's an impossibility to train jiu-jitsu for 10, 15 plus years, earn a black belt, and that is obsessive behavior. And so now it's just a matter of where are you obsessive at? Amanda makes jokes about my phone because I've got tons of unread notifications. And she's like, how doesn't that not bother you, especially with how obsessive you are? I said, I'm obsessive. It's just not about that. Like if I ever need to go in there and need to find an email, they're all there. Like that's fine. Like they're not gone. So you're obsessive. You may be obsessive in other things, but you search for the answer and you try different things, and here's the thing, you throw resources. Like I don't know any real high performer who is like, listen, I found this completely free resource, this completely free coach. You want to know what's free? Government shit. That's not good. If you're like, hey, I have this government program, run as far away from that as you can. Okay, in terms of like martial arts or like something that's supposed to be transformational. Like, do I believe government programs for feeding the poor and those things? Yes, those are good. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like in terms of personal growth. Like, and by the way, those are meant to get you from point A to point B. You're not meant to live there. And so like anything, it's going to cost resources. It's going to cost money. It's going to cost time. And you may spend, and here's the thing, that which costs you nothing is worth nothing. Like if something, how many times, we've said this, you've spent a lot of money on I think it was a Jay Adams program. Like, dude, I spent big money on this when we first partnered up. You gave it to me. I listened to a little bit of it, but I know for a fact, like you got, like how impactful was that Jay Adams on you?
Very, very.
Yeah, and to me, like I admittedly, I listened to a couple hours of it. It was good. I was like, like it was just okay. You were invested in it.
Yeah, I paid $5,000.
Yeah, you were heavily invested into it. Did you get $5,000 worth?
More.
Yeah, more. So you're invested. So now you're like, listen, I better really, really pay attention now. Like I better really pay attention now, and that's where you're hungry for that growth to get the outcome that you want. And so now, like that's where it comes from. So, so I get hungry, and I chase the solution and put the resources behind it to align with the goals. So, what limit? As I read this is worded poorly, so I'm going to have to reread it. What limitations should absolutely prohibit someone from training? Like, if this is the case for you, don't even bother, applying because jiu-jitsu is not for you. What limitations?
So Josh, we have a member named Josh, and he has a limitation, and he can't use one of his legs, basically. We have another member that only has one leg.
Two of them, actually. We have two amputees.
Yeah, two amputees that only have one leg. So they literally have to take off their leg, the what do you call the
prosthetic.
They have to take off their prosthetic and literally crawl on the mat or hop on the mat with one leg. And we've had members that have been 1 and 200 pounds overweight, that those are also limitations getting inside the gym. We have people with like social limitations, like honestly people's social limitations, that they actually started jiu-jitsu because they're afraid to be around people.
They have social anxiety.
Yeah, they have anxiety. So the limitations go from emotional, mental, social, and physical. So so we've seen them all. So the limitations are, there is none. There's no limitations that should stop you, other than not being a good person to be around. If you're just a nasty person to be around and you're not good for the people around you and you're not there to improve yourself, then that's probably the one of the few limitations in training jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But there is none.
That's our only limitation here. Like our limitation here is like if you're selfish and arrogant and prideful, yep, won't be a good fit here.
True.
It's funny, you went to the adults. I was thinking of kids because I talk. Like, have you ever been in a conversation with a parent and they're like, yeah, okay, I want my kid to do this, but, and they automatically give you about 4 prohibitive things about why their kid probably A, won't like it, B, won't be good at it.
Yeah.
That, please stop doing it. Your child is not ADD. Your child is not ADHD, meaning like that's not who they are. Like, they may have trouble focusing because they're a little ball of testosterone. Okay, I'm the exact same. Like you put Muhammad. It's always funny, like when you and I go to these mastermind events, and they're kind of like, if they're like in a sit down, like, hey guys, we're gonna sit down and do this. Like in 60 minutes doesn't go by, and we're both like up and like because it's like like I'm not sitting still for very long. It's like very difficult for me. So like they're not, that's not how they should be defined. Your child is not defined by their social anxiety. They should not be defined by their diabetes. They should not be defined by their fill in the blank, by their even autism. Like they shouldn't be defined by that. Like I understand that's a large portion of a lot of people's lives, but I've had kids, like I would say 80% of those, when the parents put those parameters on there, like, oh, but they've got ABCDE, I would have never known if they hadn't told me.
Yeah.
Because when they get in here, like, but it's like, so you're doing them a disservice.
Yeah, and there was a show about my I think it was called my Big Fat Life or something. And
yeah,
there's
a few of those. They have like 4 different versions of that.
Yeah, so one of the series or one of the shows, those are motivational for me.
Yeah,
really, those are motivational for me because it reminds me of like what habits not to fall into. But there was this one person that was like 500 or 600 or 700 pounds, and for like a year period, the people around that person who was overweight kept feeding them.
Yeah,
and like it was literally like, buy me a whole box of like sweets, a whole box of like chocolate and like junk food, and their loved ones, for after these people were in bed, that they literally they could barely get up and use the bathroom, like literally could barely use the bathroom. They were on like diapers or whatever. They couldn't cook for themselves, so their loved ones had to provide the food and make the food and go buy the junk food for them. And as a parent, we enable our kids the same exact way.
Yeah.
We don't see a 500 or 600 pound person in front of us. That's built inside a little kid, and it's building up so many bad emotional and social habits by enabling them to give them what is not good for them.
Yeah.
Not once in a while, not once a day, like all day, every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah. And so kind of on that note, this is a different question. The first question was, how does enjoyment impact your diet?
Yeah.
This question is, what part does diet and nutrition play into your enjoyment?
So that's kind of like a tricky question. It's a reworded question.
It's the converse with a different answer.
Yeah, so it plays into my enjoyment because so eating healthy obviously costs, today probably 2-3 times more than eating unhealthy.
I would, I guess it depends how you eat healthy, right? Like I don't know I guess if you're shopping at Whole Foods, yeah, it's 5 times more, but
yeah. It's definitely going to be more money.
It is more money. Yeah.
So my enjoyment, what part of diet nutrition playing in my enjoyment? So we couldn't eat healthy with all the kids that we had. We couldn't buy all organic foods with all our kids. We had a big family. So what we did is we made a couple decisions. We would always have organic milk. We would always have organic eggs. Like those are 2 things we just absolutely. It was anytime we bought those foods, it was going to be organic. So every time we ate the organic eggs, everybody in the house knew. Every time we made eggs, those are organic eggs. Every time somebody pulled out the cereal, everybody knew that was or whatever they're making with the milk, that was organic milk. And so for those 2 things, we slowly build and evolved on that into some like different fruits and vegetables and stuff. But every time we've ever touched those, we knew we were making a good and smart choice. Like everybody in the house, everybody knew these 2 things are organic.
Can I help? So let me help funnel, because I know you so well. I know your answer. Is there any member of your immediate household who is prohibited from doing like any activity they desire because they have poor diet and nutrition? For instance, if you wanted to go, let's just say, walk to the top of the Empire State Building, is there any member of your family who's like, I can't do that?
That's a long walk, Coach.
I know the answer. That they may not be happy about it. They may not want to, but like not wanting to is different than I'm unable to.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm going with that. Like
No, you have to like you have to be physical. You have to exercise. Like that's a non-negotiable for all of us. I mean, we didn't have cars hundreds of years ago.
Yeah. I think about that a lot. I think about,
and then before then we had horses, and a lot of times they were walking their own horses.
Yeah.
Like we walked everywhere we go. I don't know when the last time you and I take Dallas, for example. If we can go somewhere where we absolutely don't need a car, like just think about how much you guys walk. We walk when we go to work. So I guess to answer that question, knowing that it's enjoyable to eat healthy foods when you eat them, and you know that I'm making a good choice, I'm doing a good thing. That changes your mood, it changes your thought process, it changes who you are as a person when you're consciously doing something that you know is good for you, and it's just a matter of time before those healthy foods start to show up in your production at work or the gym. Yeah. So that's how my enjoyment goes.
I always look at this as the human body. It is a machine, right? And like you can take like a hoopty, like a car, and whatever. I mean, like if there's a bunch of stuff wrong with the car, there's just so much wrong with it. You can't even be hard to like. It just doesn't drive right. We don't know exactly what, but like I know it can't go 100 miles an hour on the Autobahn. I wouldn't take it on the freeway. It's going to break down. If you put regular fuel in a Ferrari, it will know immediately. Yeah. Because it's used to a certain level of performance that now it's not been fueled appropriately. And even the fuel is like, that's off. And if you talk to athletes, you talk to, and again, like this is coming from a place of like, I am not the nutrition guy. I'm not I'm not the college athlete, but I was like very much just like in my 20s. I was like, whatever, like I'm 20, it doesn't really matter. Like I kind of ate roughly what I wanted and did whatever I wanted, and it still got somewhat the same effect. And now in your 30s, that changes a little bit. And so for me, it was 29 and a half. It was like, we're going to have a heart to heart about your body here, dude. So and now you're feeling that, you will feel the performance in your mental performance based on what you eat. Like you could be mentally lethargic too. Like you're just trying to, let's say you're trying to write that essay, or you're trying to respond to this email, or you've got to do this sales pitch for corporation, or you have a board meeting, or what, a year review that's contingent upon your raise, whatever that is. If you want to perform well, that's directly tied to diet and nutrition. And again, I'm a big fan of the 80-20 rule, right? Because I want to enjoy what I eat. Like I don't want to live such a strict life. I had a Snickers the other day. I thought of you. I had half of one. To be fair, I had half of Snickers, but I still want to enjoy that, and it's cool because I did all. I ate. I made good choices up until that, and I'll also add this: if all things equal, you take all things equal, and I've got the choice between dealing with two people. Every other thing is equal. Two different types of businessmen. One has clearly taken care of his body, and one has clearly neglected it. Like we're talking like he can't walk straight, and I'm going to deal with the person who has taken better care of their body. You can say that's discrimination. No, if I'm going to do business with someone, that just means they have an added level of foresight. They care about the future. They care about their family because they're planning to be around in the near future, and they have discipline, and they have the follow through that it takes to stick with something. All tells me from one thing. So the other person, again, all things equal, everything else equal. That's what I'm going to do.
I think most people would.
You turn me on. All things equal. All things equal. I think if we're being honest, right, we don't want to appear shallow, but we talked about a term, the eyeball test. You turned that on me a few years back, and the eyeball, you've got coming from your primal instinct back during the hunter gatherers, warrior age. You had 4 seconds to not even 2 seconds to decide if someone was a threat or an ally. And you do that, again, through body language and what they look like. So at first glance, if you got an eyeball test, you're that's your first appearance. Again, all things equal, it's not to say, trust me, I know plenty of guys who are really into fitness that I wouldn't deal with them ever. So, but that's what I think it plays into enjoyment. You perform better. And for me, you perform better and just makes it way more enjoyable.
Since we're talking about that, what are three different? We talked about nutrition a little bit. What are 3 different foods that you incorporate that you could recommend to our?
I love one of my favorite snacks because I grew up as peanut butter and jelly as a kid, and one of my favorite. Craig Funk turned me onto this is almond butter or peanut butter, natural almond butter or natural peanut butter, because the Jif has 20 grams of sugar, processed sugar, is blueberries and almond butter.
Blueberries and almond butter?
Yeah, it's really good.
I would never think those two mix.
Yeah, it's my favorite snack.
Really?
Yeah, so you take and I put 2 heaping tablespoons of almond butter, and this gets extra with it now. This is Amanda, because she follows all these bougie Instagram influencers. You throw a little bit, a drizzle, a little bit of almond butter over the blueberries, and then throw a little bit of granola on it. And then so now
in a bowl or on?
I do it in a bowl,
okay.
Right? I do it in a bowl. Sometimes I'll put the almond butter on a plate and do apple slice. I'll mix it up. Blueberries, we pretty much always have blueberries, apples, and bananas, and almond butter. That's pretty much they stay in our
What
house.
else?
Food.
Yeah.
I kind of cheat a little bit. I really like Because I stay on the go, so I don't really sit down and eat a whole lot of meals. So protein shakes, what's the slow release I get from GNC?
Amplify,
and then heaping. I really like the greens. I noticed a large difference in the green. Like I do 2 or 3 scoops of greens in that. Like that's, and then you mix that up with almond milk and maybe some almond butter in there. That's like how it really fills you. And then a third healthy food. I'm just a big chicken fan. Like literally, you're like, hey, yo, we can get you steak, or we can get you a really well done fillet, or a really well done chicken marsala, or chicken piccata, I should say. Chicken piccata. I'm probably going with the chicken piccata. Honestly, so we keep chicken. But it's not the easiest thing to make. So yeah, I don't know what the third one is. Those are my quick snacks though. Those are things I pretty much keep around. You know what they actually they do have is they've made cauliflower chips now.
Those are good.
Those are really good.
Cauliflower,
right? In fact, yeah, thank you. That's it. Sometimes I don't like pasta. Amanda will make cauliflower pasta, and it doesn't sit heavy like regular pasta does. So that cauliflower is a really, really solid option. How about you? What are your 3 top?
I mean, I change it from year to year because I find something I like and I have it again and again and again until it's like, I had enough of this. But you can get these vegetarian patties that look like a burger, basically like a veggie burger, but they're made more with veggies are kind of soft. I like to saute those, throw them in a wrap. And sometimes I even, throw a couple eggs in there, some avocado. Another big one.
That sounds delicious. Honestly, that sounds delicious. It just takes time, but it sounds delicious.
Yeah, they have flavor.
Yeah.
I think they have really good flavor. Another big one is adding avocado to anything that you eat because it fluffs up in your stomach. It keeps you fuller longer. It's obviously good fiber.
Avocado's really good. That's another thing you turned me on to was fats. Good fats.
Yeah.
Good fats. Nuts is another one. I eat a lot of nuts. Avocado, I think it's the #1 oil for your heart.
Avocado.
Over olive oil. Yeah, it's avocado oil. It's like really, really good for you.
Yeah, and it's funny because my body will crave, I need fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need fat because I know that fat gives you energy. Fat is good for your brain. Fat is good for your joints. And my body's like, if I haven't had fat in a day or two, I'm like, I need to get some fat inside my body, whether it be the olive oil, whether it be the avocado, or almonds or nuts or something like that. Another big one is a protein shake. But you hear that you hear protein, it's like, I don't want to have that.
They've come a really long way.
Yeah,
protein shakes.
My daughter, she's been I've been making her these protein shakes where we have 3 different fruits in there, frozen fruits.
Oh, that's good.
And I add some dates, and I add protein in there, vanilla protein. And I mean, you know how picky teenagers could be.
Yeah.
And
no, that's good.
Yeah, she's a big oatmeal eater, so I add some oatmeal in there. It keeps her full throughout the day.
That's a solid cold oats with whey protein.
Yeah.
That's a really solid and I like that because you can make it for a week.
Yeah.
Or a few days at least, ahead of time.
Yeah.
You just mix it up, and set it in the fridge overnight, and you come back and scoop it out. And that's a really, really solid.
Yeah. So that's probably my third one is just mixing a bunch of stuff in my protein shake where I've given Eric Fat a sample, Eric, you, and some other people. It's you'd never know you're drinking something healthy, and it keeps you full. So that's probably my third one. Greens are big too. People hear that and they're like, "What?"
It's really, really good.
Yeah,
really
good. They keep your body alkaline and.
I had when I had that, your palate changes when you eat that food. Your palate changes to where even when I do eat a Snicker, I used to be able to literally no hesitation destroy 3 musketeer bars back to back to back to back. No problem. Now, like I had that same.
You'll get sick if you do that.
Yeah, well, I was 19 at that time. So like, but like I'd had this thing. I had half of it one, but I was like, if I were to finish this, I would like. It was just enough, right? Like I got the taste for it,
Yeah.
but you can your palate picks up things like, oh, this is kind of there's something in here. It's not. It's like you don't know what it is, right? Like and a lot of people don't know there's actually wax in the chocolate. So like maybe it's too much wax in that bar. So like it's not. It's you pick up some foreign substance that's not supernatural, and you're like, not to say you can't have it, but like you're like, yeah, I'm not going to eat too much more.
Yeah, and you don't like it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't happen overnight. As you slowly start to like, incorporate some healthy choices, different choices, and you kind of balance what goes in your body, that'll happen naturally.
Yeah, 100%. So that's pretty much it for this episode. And guys, remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Wherever I think we're on Facebook. What's Facebook group. So yeah, go ahead and like our page. And if you're local, look, if you're local and you're like, hey, I'm feeling this. I think these guys can help me reach my goals for myself and my kid. Reach out. We'll get you set up with a trial to see if we're a good fit. Make sure that we can actually help you out. If you're not local, these are some parameters to like finding a jiu-jitsu academy wherever you're at. I'm very pro people training jiu-jitsu. Honestly, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else, because it's only going to help. It's only going to help the sport and everything else grow. So that's it for this morning. As always, guys, we'll see you on the mats.